Good afternoon, I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐊𝐶 TV live from Sydney. This is the last show of the day, the last trade. In today's show, we'll be looking at the ASX 200 performance and exploring some notable market gainers and losers. We'll also look at the ASX listed companies that are in the news today. And then in the last segment, I have the latest crypto updates for you. So stay watching till the end. Now let's get started with today's market close commentary before we wrap up your Tuesday. Aussie shares enjoyed another strong session today with the ASX 200 reaching fresh all-time highs early in the session. The rally was supported by financial stocks and strong earnings from blue chip companies like fibre cement maker James Hardie and annuities provider Challenger. The benchmark index reached a new peak of 7,576. However, the local market did fade after a strong opening hour as New South Wales reported its own record for daily COVID-19 cases, with 356 in the past day. At closing, the ASX 200 is 21.7 points higher as it follows what was a mixed session for US markets. The ASX All Ordinaries Index was up 0.32% by the end, and across the Tasman Sea, New Zealand's benchmark NZX 50 index rose 0.5%. Among the individual stocks, Pilbara Minerals was the top gainer, gaining 10.95%. But apart from that, online bookmaker PointsBet rose 10.16% as well, while the Cobra was up by 8.74%. On the flip side, gold miners were among the top losers, with Ramelius Resources emerging as the top loser, falling 5.43%. Some of the other worst performers were St. Barbara and Silver Lake Resources, losing 4.66% and 4.2% respectively. Next up, let's see how the sectoral indices performed today. While the market witnessed a good trading session today as 7 of the 11 sectoral indices ended in the green zone. The tech sector had led to market improvements, while financials, materials, communications, with both consumer discretionary and staples, were also climbing. Industrials, however, is the worst performing sector, while energy, healthcare and property trusts also declined. The energy stocks also ended lower, tracking a fall in crude prices. Brent crude oil futures dropped 1.52%, while WTI crude oil fell 1.71%, and sectoral leaders Woodside Petroleum, Oil Search and Beach Resources all ended in the red. In a similar trend, gold stocks were the biggest drags on the index, falling nearly 1%, after the precious metal slumped to a more than 4-month low overnight. Gold miners also remained under pressure owing to a fall in the price of the yellow metal. After Friday's fall of 2.28%, yesterday gold fell another 1.89%, and reflecting this, Aussie miners like Gold Road Resources, Perseus Mining, Ramelius Resources and Regis Resources all ended lower, catching up with the falling prices. On the other hand, financials rose 0.75% as Commonwealth Bank gained a steep 1.36% and ANZ closed 0.21% down. Financial services firm IOOF Holdings led the gains on the sub-index, rising 1.36%, followed by Suncorp Group, which closed flat. And now before we look at the shares that are in the news today, it's time for a short break.
Hi there, James Preston for 𝐊𝐶 TV. Are you into gaming and virtual reality? Does AI and the endless possibilities it entails capture your interest? Or are you constantly trawling through the web to try and discover the latest updates and innovations in the tech space? Well, let us do the work for you. From the latest product launches to shocking affairs on the World Wide Web, exclusive interviews and information about the top companies like Apple and Google to brand new tech startups vying for your attention. 𝐊𝐶's Tech Beat has the latest in what matters in the world of technology. Join me every single Monday on the Tech Beat, exclusive to 𝐊𝐶 TV.
Welcome back from that break. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐊𝐶 TV live from Sydney. This is the last trade. In this segment, we'll be shifting our focus towards stocks that created a buzz today. James Hardie has closed 3.05% up on the release of quarterly earnings. First quarter profit jumped to $121.4 million from $9.4 a year ago, while net sales were 35% higher. James Hardie has also raised its full-year earnings guidance as margins also improved. The company has now seen 9 consecutive quarters of growth. Incredible. And Coronado Global Resources has closed flat after releasing its half-year results. The metallurgical coal miner experienced a 12% lift in revenue to $800 million, and its net loss shrunk by 22% to $96 million in losses for the half. Coronado Global expects to benefit from a rise in coal prices over the second half, though it did not declare an interim dividend. And investment manager Challenger closed 1.73% up on the release of its financial year 21 earnings. Headline net profit came in at $592 million compared to $416 million losses a year ago, while normalized net profit after tax fell 19% at $279 million. Challenger's life business saw big improvements with record sales of $6.9 billion, a jump of 35%. The company is paying a final dividend of 10.5 cents per share from no final dividend this time last year. And IT company Megaport's share price closed 3.05% up today, following the release of its full-year results and the announcement of an acquisition. In respect to the former, the network as a solutions provider reported a 35% year-on-year increase in revenue to $78.28 million. This was driven by a 32% jump in monthly recurring revenue to $7.5 million, which analyzes to $90 million. Megaport also announced a $15 million acquisition of InnovoEdge, an AI-powered multi-cloud and edge application orchestration company. And now to some economic news. The weekly ANZ Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence reading fell to a 9.5 month of 98.6, where a number below 100 indicates more pessimism than optimism. The Australian dollar has fallen. In the last segment of the show, let's have a quick look now at the crypto market performance. Well, Bitcoin investment products and funds registered outflows for a 5th consecutive week as investor sentiment remained cautious in the midst of increased global regulatory scrutiny. Data from digital asset manager CoinShares showed on Monday. Outflows from the world's most popular cryptocurrency totaled $33 million in the week ending 6th of August, compared with $19.7 million the previous week. But so far this year, Bitcoin inflows remained at a robust $4.2 billion. The crypto on Monday hit an 11-week high above the $46,000 mark, and since mid-July, Bitcoin has gained 46% against the dollar. Data also showed that Ether, the token used in the Ethereum blockchain, saw outflows of $2.8 million from a nearly $9 million outflow the previous week. Last Thursday, Ethereum, the second largest blockchain network, went through a major software upgrade, which is expected to stabilize transaction fees and reduce supply of the Ether token. Well, that is all for now in the last trade. With our existing operations in Australia, New Zealand, the UK and Canada, 𝐊𝐶 Media has launched its operations in US markets. Every day on our first show, the Global Market Roundup, you can get the latest and most important news from the US, Europe and Asia Pacific markets. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. live from Sydney. Holly Shields signing off.